You are sitting beside a fire at the end of the Ice Age, beyond the light. Two yellow eyes watch from the darkness. You throw a bone into the snow. The animal steps closer, but not too close. It is not your pet. It is not yet a dog. It is evolved deciding whether you are dangerous. No one at that fire is trying to invent a new animal. No one is planning floppy ears, wagging tails, or a companion that will someday sleep beside a human child. Yet, encounters like this may have begun one of history's strangest partnerships. Humans did not create dogs in a single moment. There was probably no first person who captured a wolf and announced that it had been domesticated. Dog domestication was a long evolutionary process, and researchers still debate exactly where, when, and how it began. What is clear is that dogs came from ancient wolf populations. They did not simply descend from the gray wolves alive today. The exact source population has not been found, and some wolves that contributed to early dogs may now be extinct. During the Ice Age, humans and wolves were often competitors. Both hunted large animals, traveled in groups, and defended territory. A hungry wolf near camp could steal meat, attack a child, or draw other predators toward the fire. Most wolves probably stayed away or were driven off, but wolves are not identical. Some are more fearful, some are bolder, some are more aggressive. A few may have been calm enough to approach human camps without attacking or immediately fleeing. Those calmer wolves could reach scraps, bones, fish remains, and carcass parts people did not finish. Aggressive animals were killed or chased away. Wolves that tolerated humans were more likely to survive near them. If those animals reproduced with one another, their pups inherited some of the same tendencies. Generation after generation, the invisible boundary around camp became a filter. Humans did not understand genetics, but their reactions were already shaping which wolves succeeded. This is called the commensal hypothesis. Wolves began benefiting from food around humans, but it is only one possible explanation. Some researchers argue that mobile hunter-gatherers may not have produced enough waste to support populations of scavenging wolves. Humans may also have collected wolf pups. A pup raised inside camp could bond with people, learn their routines, and become easier to control. The real story may have combined curious wolves, adopted pups, human tolerance, and selection across many generations. At first, the benefits may have been simple. A wolf-like animal could hear danger before a sleeping human did. It could smell a predator beyond the firelight. Its growl could warn the camp before anyone saw what was moving in the dark. These animals may also have helped people follow wounded prey, locate carcasses, or notice strangers approaching. We cannot know which task came first, but even a small advantage could make feeding a tolerated wolf worthwhile. The animals benefited too. Human camps offered food and some protection from rival wolves. A camp-following population no longer lived entirely by the rules of the wild. Its survival increasingly depended on reading human behavior. The best survivor was not always the strongest animal. It might be the one that waited instead of lunging, understood distance, followed movement, and learned when a human voice meant food and when it meant danger. Recent ancient DNA has made the timeline clearer. At Pınarbaşı in what is now Turkey, researchers identified a dog dating to roughly 15,800 years ago. Evidence from the site suggests these dogs lived in close association with hunter-gatherers. At Gough's cave in Britain, a genetically identified dog dates to about 14,300 years ago. Similar dog ancestry appeared across Western Eurasia, suggesting dogs were already moving between culturally different human groups. That means domestication began earlier. By the time these animals entered the archaeological record, dogs were not one local experiment beside a single campfire. They were valuable enough to spread or be exchanged across enormous distances. At Bonn-Oberkassel in Germany, a young dog was buried with two humans around 14,000 years ago. Its teeth suggest it survived a serious illness before dying. A sick puppy could not hunt or guard. It may have needed food, water, warmth, and cleaning for weeks. Keeping it alive required effort with little immediate return. The animal was not merely equipment. Someone cared whether it lived. Humans may have first valued wolf-like companions because they were useful. But usefulness alone cannot fully explain a sick animal being nursed and buried with people. Somewhere during domestication, cooperation became attachment. The earliest dogs probably did not look like modern pets. many may have resembled small wolves. Their most important differences may initially have been behavioral, which is one reason ancient bones are difficult to classify. Several older skulls were once presented as possible dogs. Remains from Gough Cave in Belgium and Predmosti in Czechia started major debates. New genetic work indicates that some famous early candidates were actually extinct wolves. A short muzzle or small jaw does not always prove domestication. Ancient DNA can reveal whether an animal belonged to the dog lineage, but it has not yet located the exact wolf population where the process began. Genetic evidence suggests a complicated ancestry. Dogs are generally closer to ancient Eastern Eurasian wolves and to the Western wolves studied so far. Yet dogs from Southwest Asia and Africa also carry ancestry linked to another Western wolf-related source. This could reflect multiple domestication events or early dogs mixing with local wolves. Researchers cannot yet say. The family tree is a web of extinct populations, migration, separation, and occasional mixing. By about 11,000 years ago, at least 5 major dog lineages already existed. Dogs had diversified before farming spread across much of the world. Humans did not need villages or fields before forming this partnership. The first selection was probably not for breed shape. Ancient people were not choosing between a poodle and a mastiff. They favored behavior, tolerance, usefulness, attention, and the ability to live close to humans without creating constant danger. Physical changes followed. Dog skulls became more distinct from wolf skulls, and body shapes diversify. Different communities valued different abilities, including hunting, guarding, hauling, warmth, and companionship. Agriculture changed the relationship again. As human diets included more starch, some dog populations became better able to digest it. But this came thousands of years after the first dogs. Bread and grain did not create the original partnership. Most modern breeds are much more recent. The first dogs were not designed from a blueprint. They emerged from repeated contact between two social predators. Wolves already lived in families, cooperated during hunts, defended groups, raised young together, and communicated through posture, sound, and movement. Humans understood many of those same social rules, but living with humans changed the rules. A wild wolf survives by avoiding another powerful predator. A dog survives by approaching that predator, watching its signals, and making itself useful or welcome. Humans changed too. A camp with dogs had another set of ears at night and another nose on the trail. Children grew up beside an animal that was neither fully wild nor human, yet could become part of the social group. So did humans accidentally create dogs? In one sense, yes. No Ice Age hunter could have imagined a Labrador waiting beside a kitchen table. The final result was never planned. But it was not one accident. It was thousands of small decisions. Throw the bone. Spare the calm animal. Feed the pup. Trust the warning growl. Let the familiar animal follow when the camp moves. Each choice altered the future. Wolves selected for tolerance moved closer. Humans allowed useful and trustworthy animals to remain. Eventually, the population crossing the edge of the firelight was no longer truly wild. The deepest twist is that humans did not simply tame wolves. Wolves adapted to humans, and humans reorganized parts of daily life around them. Dog domestication was not the conquest of one species by another. It was a long negotiation. The result now sleeps on couches, guards homes, guides people who cannot see, finds survivors beneath rubble, and greets his family as if every return is the most important event of the day. That modern animal began somewhere beyond an ancient fire, when fear became curiosity, curiosity became tolerance, and tolerance became trust. If you enjoyed this journey into the distant past, subscribe for more stories about ancient humans and human evolution.